Now that we've looked at the difference between exact and measured values, we'll start to consider how to round our answers when we do calculations with measured values. Often, our calculator will give us a lot of decimal places, and we need to decide how many of those to report. Measured numbers always have some degree of uncertainty based on the measuring device that was used. For example, this could come from having to estimate where on a tape measure a piece of wood falls, or from uncertainty built into a digital scale. The big idea here is that we can't report a calculated value based on measured numbers with more certainty than the original measurements had. In order to decide how to round those final calculated values, we'll look at two ideas: accuracy and precision. When we talk about the accuracy of a number, we're talking about how many of those significant figures it has. The more significant figures, the more accurate the measured number. When we look at precision, we're looking at the place value of the rightmost significant digit. Sometimes we talk about this in terms of how many decimal places the value has. As a reminder of the terminology related to place value, let's look at this example, 124.375 grams. When I talk about the place value for the digits to the left of the decimal, the 4 is in the ones position, the 2 is in the tens position, and the 1 is in the hundreds position. When I look to the right of the decimal place, the 3 is in the tenths position, the 7 is in the hundredth position, and the 5 is in the thousandth. The rightmost significant digit, or this 5, tells us that this value is measured to the nearest thousandth of a gram. The more decimal places, the more precise the value is. Look now at the rounding rules we'll follow when we're dealing with calculated values and calculations, and then we'll apply these in some examples in the next video. It's important to remember, especially when we get to problems that include more than one step, that you should always round at the very end of your calculations. If your calculation involves more than one step, keep all those decimal places until you do your final calculation and just round your final answer. If you round early, it can lead to errors in your final answer. When it does come time to round, how you round will be based on what your final operation was. If your final operation was adding or subtracting, we're going to round our final answer based on precision, or the decimal places in our original measured values. The final answer is rounded to the same level of precision as the least precise measurement in our calculation. When we're multiplying or dividing, we will round our final answers based on accuracy, or the number of significant figures. Again, the final answer is rounded to the same number of significant figures as the least accurate measurement in our calculation. When we're rounding, once we've determined what digit we're rounding to, we look one place value to the right of that digit to decide whether we're going to round up or not. If the digit next to the number we're rounding is 5 or more, we will round up, which means our final digit is increased by 1 and the remaining digits to the right are dropped. If that digit is less than 5, our final digit will stay the same and the remaining digits will just drop. The only time we don't drop remaining digits is when we need to retain zeros as placeholders. Take a read through these rules again and we'll apply them in the next video.